Okay, everybody, we are live once again. Thank you for tuning into Sunday Night Tech Talk. Once again, I am your host, Ron, with our very special friend.
Howdy, everybody. I am Daniel Halverson, aka Techie Fiddler.
And we have some special guests coming in, so we think. We're not 100% sure yet. We'll find out as it goes on throughout the night. So I'm wearing my Murph shirt because we're going to be talking about Murph. And the cool thing it was, I mean, already, I gotta tell you, the first thing that really sticks out in my mind is the printer belt.
Yeah, that and the White Knight version of it, right?
That's the one.
That was pretty epic.
That was freaking amazing. I really love that printer. And all I gotta say is that printer was great. Yeah. What did you think about the printer itself? I know that you had a little bit more knowledge on that one.
Mm-hmm.
What was your thoughts about it once you saw it in full build mode?
Sure. Yeah, I can discuss that. Ron, you want to go and check out what Luke's status is?
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
Group chat, yeah. I thought that the White Knight 45-degree angled belt printer was really, really neat. Even Bill Steele, the guy who kind of came up with that concept of using angled layers, thought that his rendition of that idea was very, very nice. For his implementation, I should say. And I got to agree, using a Core XY system for the, not really XY, but you know what I mean, the layers themselves was good. His implementation of that was very well designed. Even down to things like the color scheme, a lot of very thoughtful details in it. It was a well thought through design, so I liked it a lot.
The thing that really got me was the actual fact that it was an endless Z, which I was really blown away by. Now, we also have Jacob, who just joined us. Thanks, Jacob, for joining in. We're just talking about the printer belt, and I got some stuff to talk to you about. But anyways, one thing that kind of shocked me was I was listening recently to 3D Printing Today, which interviewed him about the printer belt. He seemed to be a little bit miffed that NAC didn't make this his ultimate goal to build printers and to sell it. He seemed a little bit miffed by that, which I thought was kind of like not 100% sure on my feels about that. But yeah, also the announcement that NAC 3D has signed a deal with Printed Solid to actually make the White Knight a kit, so you can now build it.
Yes, I'm really excited for that. It's very cool that Printed Solid is getting into that business. So I think they're going to open source it, is what I heard from from Dave, and I think that's going to be a pretty neat thing for the community, having a printer like that with plans freely available. It's cool.
Yeah, and I just got told my dad stop calling it the White Knight, the print belt. Well, it's.
Did you hear on one of the streams that some I think it might have been Joel or somebody that interviewed him, and he said that Prusa came by and said they have the black belt in their factory as a beta machine, and he said the results they're getting of the White Knight far surpass the black belt, and the black belt's a 10 grand machine.
That's right.
Yeah, no, that's impressive, honestly. So we're having issue with someone trying to get in. I gotta go take care of that. Daniel, I want to ask you, what was your personal highlight? Something that stuck in your head that you just went, wow, I'm really impressed about that.
Jacob already knows what I'm going to say. Right? Okay, I want to see if Jacob knows. Jacob, you tell him.
My money is on the Helios.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. Yeah. So Nick Seward, who everybody should know, in the 3D printing world, is a genius of kinematic designs, and he brought a nifty 3D printer called Helios last year, and a wheeled printer called TableBot. And this year he had both of them mashed up into a single contraption with an angled base that provided the indexing between layers, just like a belt printer does, an angled belt printer, I should say. And he had a serial SCARA polar arm, just like Helios, providing the XY, you might say, planar motion to print in that layer. And mash the two of these together into a free traveling robot that can drive along a table and leave prints behind it. It was amazing. So yeah, one of his students took those two names and mashed them together into Wheelios, which I absolutely love. That was definitely the coolest thing I think I saw all weekend. He was finishing the firmware for it there at the festival, and one of my printed parts ended up on it, so that was kind of fun. We got to see it do its first prints there.
Oh, I think I know what's going on. Give me a moment, guys. I think because of an issue that we had to kick Luke, I think what's happening is I think it's not allowing him to log back in.
Did it like block him?
Maybe? I think it might have.
You can undo that.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's a way I can undo it. But yeah, no. One of the things that I was interested in, like the belt was the first one, but Luke's designs really got me going. Hey, I never thought to try that. Was that 3D? Was the printer that was made out of parts from a CD player, the CD drive ones?
Hmm. Yeah, that was very cool as well. Yeah, I was pretty excited to see that one. People have had those designs from EWaste printers floating around the internet for a while. I've actually never got to handle one and see what they're like in person, and I was very impressed with the print quality that he was getting out of it. It was a 0.2 nozzle on there, and it was really, really cool. Really, really cool. Let's see. We got some comments in the chat here. Oddsball, no, we are not at Murph, but we are recapping it. Murph was last weekend, I should say. Jake from State Farm, will they be sourcing some of the not so standard, hard to find parts? Yeah, so there are a couple custom pieces in that. There are water jet or CNC beds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only custom ones I can think of. Everything else in there is off the shelf that I saw. You got your standard power supply, standard motors, standard beams, standard linear rails, and yep, the belt. So the belt
he said
was that stainless steel backed?
Yeah, the stainless steel like shim stuff was custom ordered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now you got hooked up too, I noticed, Jacob. You got interviewed by the guys over at Today in 3D Printing.
Yes.
Talking about your design. It's already up online right now for people to listen to. Went up Monday morning.
Oh boy.
Yep, so there's 2 episodes already been posted. So, yeah, what did you think about getting... Did you know that you were up on there yet?
Yeah, I think I found it on Friday.
What did you think of the interview?
It's better than past ones.
Yeah. I've heard some of your past ones.
It's much, much better.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was, it's interesting to know, listening to you talk about how you did that, which was kind of impressive. I mean, to know that Indiana's all on that server, that's amazing.
Yeah. I think somebody got one hell of a grant.
Yeah. To do that photography, wow, that's a major amount. And
that data set you can get down to like a 1/4 of a meter resolution from it.
1/4 of a meter
See
resolution.
a car on there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Holy
Yeah.
crow!
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how the printer belt would handle that, or AKA the White Knight.
Yep, White Knight. Good, good.
No, I'm wondering if the White Knight could actually process that, though.
Should be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have like there is a point where you can't, like the data set that I used, I ended up having to knock it back to like a meter, because when you get below like 3/4 of a meter, you get a lot of noise in the data set where
Yes.
it gets really, really icky to actually produce a mesh from it.
Yeah, you need to do some kind of Gaussian smoothing or something just to
Mhm.
knock out all the noise. Works pretty well, but yeah, if you're doing if you're sampling like every 3 or 4 data points, so you're getting every meter or 2 resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That can still be good.
It was enough for what we needed.
Well, okay, fine. I'll call it the White Knight for now on, Carl.
Good, good.
If that's what you need me to do, I will.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we should really start saying hi to everybody. So, we now have Daniel, Jacob, and Luke are in the chat screen. So, thanks for everyone for joining us. In the chat, we have Jake from State Farm, Osball. We also have let's see, Red Light, Knack3D, aka Carl. Who else is in here? Never Let the Machines Win, Mike. Nice seeing you back again, buddy. Wiley came in and then had to leave. 3D Medic Vince. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Let's see if there's anyone else we missed. 3D Printing Truckers. Nice to see you back in the chat, my friend. Yeah, that's about it right now that we have. So if you guys want to, if you're liking what's going on, remember, guys, hit the thumbs up. Don't hit the thumbs down, because we're just a bunch of nice guys. You know, we like to give you love.
We hug.
And
Yeah,
hug,
that's right.
yes. So, Jacob, what's new in your world? Well, actually, we asked you, and I asked what did Luke find the most interesting at Murph?
Yeah, we should ask Luke first. Not getting any audio from him. Are you guys hearing him?
No, I'm not hearing him either.
Check your audio settings and make sure you got.
Your microphone turned on, the right microphone.
Mhm.
We see him talking, but we can't see him. He can't hear us. I don't know.
He's still working.
I guess he's still working on the problems.
Okay.
But-
if it's an integrated one in your headset, make sure that's set correctly.
There we go. I think we just heard it.
Hey, there we are.
Yeah, we got him.
Heard me? Oh, hit 1 second.
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, now can you hear me? 1 second. 1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, finally. All right, we had a bunch of problems with Google today, but
Yeah.
all right. My favorite part of Murph, man, what an amazing event! I had a blast. Just to preface it, but man, I have to agree with Daniel. I really liked Rep Wheelios.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been admiring Nick Stewart's designs online for probably the past year and a half. But I mean, to see one of his inventions in person was really it was a pretty mind-blowing experience. There's a lot that I have to learn. Me and Daniel have been talking about this in terms of inverse kinematics and things like that. But, that was probably one of my favorites. And in a minute, when I have some time to think, I'm going to come up with something else. So there's that. Let's see. Oh, I really liked the printer with the carousel switching carriage on it.
That was really neat.
Yeah, and
that was Paul Hoxdelis, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very smart guy. Very smart guy.
Yeah, and he was using some BLDC motors on it, closed loop and all that, which we're also interested in. But very cool stuff. I mean, just what was really cool, you might have seen Tom's interview with this guy who did maps. And like at first glance, you would have just thought, okay, he probably got it on Thingiverse or something. But when you look into it, the guy actually had this really cool story. He actually did a lot of the photogrammetry himself. So it just kind of goes to show at the event how you can have such a you could talk at one person's table for hours, to prioritize and try to figure that out. But I think the week could or the event could be like a whole month long.
Yeah, there's some talk amongst festival goers this year that next year they should add another day.
Yes,
because
definitely.
with the amount of people that they brought this year, it was impossible to see. I didn't even get to the second building until like Sunday when people were starting to clear out. It was too busy. There was too much to see, too much to do. I couldn't see it all.
Yeah, I know. I got to go to the second building pretty early, but they had cool stuff in there too. It stinks that people have to be pushed to another building, but yeah, I think as much as you want the nostalgia per se to be kept with this building, I think we definitely need to move to a bigger venue next year, and I've heard rumors about that. So
There's already talk about it. I've already been told.
Yeah.
Me and Jacob, and I know Daniel, you got invited to the meeting. Barrett got invited. Someone said, oh, there's going to be a meeting because one of the guys at Murph went, oh, by the way, you should show up for a meeting in the coffee shop. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I know that something's going to happen between everybody, but I'm out of the loop really, and it matters up to my driver what's going on too. They're like, well, if you show up, come on inside the room, talk with us, because we're going to be trying to figure out what we need to do with Murph. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. And then all of a sudden, everybody was at the coffee shop. That was weird.
Yes,
just how many people got invited.
2 shots of espresso syrup, half and half, and chocolate. Pure energy.
That's right. He was buzzing. He was buzzing afterward.
Yes, I was.
So it was interesting what was said about Murph. Now, you guys weren't there early in the afternoon. Well, I got a lot of fed information. Now, this is the dirty stuff that happened at Murph.
Yeah.
Basically, the doors were left open at 8 o'clock in the morning. So what does that mean? Guys that showed up early decided to take all the tables that they wanted. Which in turn caused this whole catastrophe to happen. They had talks scheduled. They had to cancel all talks.
I know.
Yeah, I was surprised. I knew something happened with that, but I didn't know what the deal was there.
Yeah,
all talks had to be canceled because they had to use the other room.
I'm like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?
And it didn't happen.
Yeah. Maddening.
I hope they can run it a little tighter next year.
Yeah, next year they said it looks like convention center, and from what I've been hearing from the guys over at from the Murph team, is that there's going to be some strict rules going down next year.
Okay.
So we're going to have to keep an eye on the rules, because it's going to get either A, they're going to say, okay, you could only have so many tables, or B, it might be, just all you have to do is sign up and you get a full table. Or you sign up and you get, and you just say how many tables you're going to need if you're bringing prints and printers.
Daniel and I have decided next year we're bringing like a gladiator shelf.
A gladiator shelf?
We're not to fit everything. We kept finding ourselves, wanting to chat with each other like at the same table. We don't want to take multiples, but we also want to have like a bank of printers and then also an extra row, like a shelf of prints. So we're going to bring a second level, a double-decker.
Oh, you're going to build a shelf there.
Good.
Like one of those industrial
like
ones.
A portable plastic shelf to bring or something.
You should print your own shelf to bring. There you go.
Yeah, we could probably print.
It gets done.
Have like PVC and printed brackets.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's going to be scary.
Yeah, we'll add that.
Yeah, bunk beds.
1 million print hours.
Yeah, exactly. The print.
And I'm hoping that next year that everything is worked out okay. Because I mean, this year was really that I heard people complaining to them saying, "Hey, listen, I paid for X amount of tables. I should be getting my X amount of tables."
Yeah. It's really unfair that people can just show up when they want to early. I mean, it was really the organizer's fault, unfortunately, because people will obviously take advantage of that when they can.
Yeah. And honestly,
It
like,
happens.
I wanted to set up, I always thought I ordered a full table until I read it. It was only a 4-foot table. I went, oh, shoot. I meant to say 8 foot. I should have ordered 2 tickets, but oh well.
Mhm.
You know, now that I know that, I'm going to have to watch that and make sure that we watch for that. And honestly, Murph should have been on top of those tables that were reserved for people that paid money.
Oh, yeah.
Those should have been in the main room. I don't care what they say. Those tables should have been in the main room.
Yeah, they should have been able to bring them in, say, hey, these guys pay money. They should be, VIP.
Yeah, they should be the ones that got, like, the corners, got in a special area so that they could show off their stuff. I mean, I felt bad for Filamentum. They were tucked in the back corner. No one knew about them being there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were showing me all the prints that Filament Frenzy did. And I was looking at them going, wow, that's amazing.
It was good stuff. If they had been more
personally,
visible, they would have had a lot
liked
more
it better
viewers.
this way, where the vendors were all dispersed throughout, where it wasn't like past years where they just had like the super cluster of vendors,
Vendor alley,
everything else.
Yeah.
It's like it was cool that everything was kind of by accident equally dispersed.
Yeah. I do like that. I don't want it to be obviously a big commercial event. No one does, but I think that they should have a special say what tables they want, obviously.
Well, look at ERF. I've talked with Chris about this, and yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I've been told about already that he couldn't. That he told me off mic, and I'm not allowed to repeat it, so I can't tell you. But I did ask him about, how do you separate from, like myself, who isn't a person that pays money to have a table, but someone else that pays lots of money? He's like, those guys get their special corner on the floor. We make sure they get their space. They get everything that they ordered because they're paying big money. It's not you that pays the big money. It's them that pays the big money. They get their own space. And I thought that was a really interesting idea. And he wants them to be on the ends so that they can get all the room that they need. Like if you looked at where what's their names? Printed Solid was at Earth. They were in the back wall, but they had like an L section. And they made use of that section really well.
Oh, their stuff was selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bought a roll. Mm-hmm.
Well, not at Earth. I meant at Earth, not
Murph?
Murph.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, true.
How do you like Earth, by the way? I haven't been.
Earth, small.
It's growing.
It's smaller, but I
Much
feel
more
like
intimate.
the first year was just kind of let's see if we can get this off the ground, and it stuck.
Yeah.
So this year is going to be a lot bigger, I would guess.
That's what I'm feeling.
But they
Yeah,
had,
being
800
not in the middle
people
of
show
nowhere.
up.
The thing with Earth versus Murph is that Earth is more of a relaxation than Murph was.
Oh, okay. Really? That's good.
This year's Murph was insane.
Yeah,
Okay.
Earth felt a lot more low key.
Yeah, it's more it's like a relaxicon in the sense that you can relax, but you can talk to everybody. Saturday is still busy. But after Saturday, Sunday is just relax, take it easy,
Good.
and then everybody cleans out around 5 o'clock. The thing to keep in mind is that they shut off the power. That was not noted to anybody until they started doing that. They shut off the power at like 9 o'clock. We're like, what the? Power's off? I have a 3-hour print going on.
Yeah.
Ugh. And they announced it like 5 minutes before the power went down. It was like, ouch.
Yeah, I had a 17-hour print going at Murph this year. And it actually, I had to cut it off, but I didn't.
I could have left it on. They would have let it go because
No,
they keep
I-
the power
I
on all
cut it
night.
off. Yeah, I cut it off Sunday when we had to leave.
Was that battleship that you were printing?
Yeah, I actually have it somewhere.
Ooh.
1 second. And the print quality I'm getting off of that really big machine is actually surprisingly well. There's the input.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, look at the surface quality. If you can, I don't know how the camera will do it justice, but
That is nice.
literally, the printer literally cost me less than $300. So I'm trying to make a video on that. I've been making a video on that for the last.
Hang on. Am I seeing? I believe I see behind you. Is that the Troxy PX2A3 or the copy of what I would call the Aina A8?
This is actually the original, not a clone.
Oh,
Really?
man.
Yeah, I've upgraded the firmware. Firestarter is less of a problem. I started the connections on hard. So the connections sucked, by the way. They burnt out pretty easily. But I soldered them directly. It's still a stock board with Marlin on it now. It's basically a stock machine. I just put an E3D V6 clone, Bowden style, BL Touch on here. And yeah, it works. I mean, like, I've seen really nice printers and really nice prints before, and I've seen really crappy printers because I own a few. And this thing prints really well. I mean, let's see if I have any. I don't have anything to show right now, but I mean, it prints so well. I could be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm really curious what your motion settings are. You can get pretty much anything to print well as long as you set it up with appropriate motion parameters.
And extruder and the extruder also. Yeah.
And the extruder. Your extrusion system is often a big bottleneck with some of the really, really cheap stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
So I got to ask you, why did you go with 2 millimeters on the CD version versus I think it's 4 millimeter nozzle used on your on
Yeah.
the other one?
Let's see. I have it up here. Oh, by the way, it broke not in transit, but it just kind of broke.
Oh,
It's an easy fix because the whole thing is like hot glue and super glue.
jeez.
Yeah, hot glue, super glue, a few specialized prints and bolts and all that. But I use a 0.4 on this because there's a little bit of backlash in the x-axis, and this thing isn't the most precise printer because of that. This printer, however, has a 0.2 millimeter nozzle on it. It's very well constrained, rigid. The extruder is very precise. So I just put a 0.2 on that. And you've all seen the prints that it gets.
What's the extruder on that?
On the CD drive one?
Yeah, the CD drive.
CD drive has a 0.4 on that one. This one right here has a 0.2.
No, I mean the like extruders. Is it geared? Is it Bondtech? Is it?
Oh, it's just a direct drive extruder.
That's correct. What about the other one?
That one is Bowden, not geared.
What's oh, it's not geared, really?
No, none of my printers are geared actually. They're all just standard. Yeah.
All right.
Ooh, working buzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that,
There's some squeaking here. I will say this: if you have very, very small extrudate cross sections, I'm using such a small nozzle width and a short layer height, like you're using on the CD printer, you can run into an issue where the length resolution of the extruder gets to be kind of a limiting factor.
Yeah.
Especially if you're using something larger for a drive gear, something with a wider drive radius. Can be an issue.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about kind of new filament standards with talking about, actually, I was interested in making my own filament a little while ago, but I was thinking, so for a smaller precise printer that you could have like a 1 millimeter, 1.2 millimeter filament. And then for something really big, like you probably saw the FK1, maybe a hang printer or Art Daddy even, you could have like a 6 millimeter filament standard.
Yes, yeah, there is a 6 millimeter filament standard. 6 millimeter nominal in the works. I don't know what the actual exact size is going to be, but there are talks of a 6 millimeter standard.
The 3D platform
industrial
guys
stuff.
I think they have one already.
Okay.
that so there's talks going.
That's good. Because I think that the 1.75 is kind of it's a good, when you kind of run into the general versus specific spectrum on a printer and you lose what things are good at on both of those ends. It's kind of like 1.75 is right in the middle of that, and it's decent. But on a really precise printer, you might want a smaller standard, and a really big one, you want a bigger one.
Well, I've been noticing more and more that everybody's been switching over to 1.75. There's even Pallet released a upgrade for the MakerBot to do 1.75 filament.
Oh, for the Ultimaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to talk to them. Unfortunately, they took off before I could even get an interview with them. So that was a little disappointing. But let's talk about some of the good stuff we got. I got a roll of this from the guys over at 3D Fuel. I went over to interview them. They said, "Oh, you got 2.85?" I go, "No, I'm 1.75. Why?" And he's like, "Ah," and he handed me this roll. I was like, "Sweet." So I got something to test, but
very nice.
Also got a roll sitting over in the other room. Free option to try out Pushment Filament. Lipstick red. So I'm looking forward to see how that stuff goes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you guys got, that freebies that you guys have brought home that you haven't tested yet?
I got a fair amount of freebies. I got a box of CD parts now, CD drive parts and power supplies, because actually the guy in the chat, I don't know if he wants me to tell people who he is, but he gave me a box of those. So I'm very happy for that because I like building CD drive printers, I guess. And I got some filament, all that. So, and a bunch of cards, if that counts. Yeah.
Yeah, well, cool. Cards, maker coins.
Mm-hmm.
I came back with maker coins and cards.
Jacob, I really liked your maker coin with the QR code on the back. I thought that was a nice addition.
I need to get a laserjet printer. I have a crappy HP inkjet printer, and I ended up having to go and clear coat all of those so they wouldn't smear.
Okay, yeah.
It was a nightmare Thursday night. I'm like, oh shit.
So yeah, I ended up with a lot of stickers. I got the 3D printing professor. Life is like regular, but with 3D printers. I don't know who that was. MakerBox. Jay Lee stopped him in the area. Gave me a sticker. Mike gave me 2 stickers for Never Let the Machines Win. But and then business cards go on because of all the videos I was doing. Everybody give me their business card so I could do it. And a new guy that I ran into called Sam's Designs, making awesome stuff. He dropped his card off with me, so he was talking with Joel and told me what he did with Joel, and I talked to him a little bit, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? Check out my channel, check out my stuff. I always like to meet new people." So I said, "Okay, yeah, we'll check out your stuff." I'm right now. I'm working on a design which I really got to talk to you, Daniel, about first before I even start it. I think you and Jacob would want to be involved in that. I know that if I tell you to, Barrett's going to want to get involved, but I really want this to be my work, something I want to do.
Sure. Let's keep talking about freebies for a second. There's a little more interesting stuff.
Okay.
Jacob, someone's asking about the QR code. Do you have one of your maker coins there?
Yeah.
Show off.
Yeah.
I came away with a couple freebies. I got sample spools, a half spool of marble filament from Atomic, and a mug from them too, which was nice. I got that as part of a trivia event, and the question that I answered that I got it for was, what does ramps, like ramps 1.4, stand for?
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if anybody in the chat knows what it stands for. Type it out if you got it.
I want to see as well. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, guys, we're watching the chat for that. But go on, Daniel.
No, that was that. Let's see what Jacob.
Here's the QR code.
Here we go.
Let me give it to Daniel. Hang on. Okay, Daniel, you got this. You got the screen. Show it really well.
Hold on a second. There's the front. And
Random access memory program.
that.
Not quite.
That's cool.
Is part of,
I really like
acronym.
Jacob's coin. I'm going to try doing it a little bit differently. I don't think Jacob's going to be too happy with me doing that. The idea that I actually had a long time ago was to take my maker coin and actually 3D print on the back of it using a layer of black and having the layer of red, and just have all the black show out to make the code. So take the code
I
in
looked
3
at doing that, and the effort to go through to actually model the code into the coin was way more than I wanted to do.
Oh, it's super easy.
Yeah.
Super easy. All you have to do is take into Kira, generate a lith vein, take that, merge it in Mesh Mixer with the other object, boom.
Even faster way, just throw it into 3D Build Maker and have it make your coin back for you. Because if you use Microsoft's Builder, 3D Builder, there's an option where you can take any photograph, throw it in there, and it will make a layered picture out of it.
Cool.
Interesting.
And then you can convert that into your section layers. And then if you're familiar with Tinkercad or anything like that, you can just go floop, put it all together. And then you just have your setup for layer color 1, layer color number 2, and just have them print.
I can't function in Tinkercad.
Well,
today.
yeah, but you can also throw it into you can also move it over to say, Fusion 360 and work it in there. Because all it does is just turns it to an STL file, so you can easily make work with it.
When you deal with STL files in Fusion 360, it's a nightmare.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You
It's not the greatest.
do
Yeah.
that.
How about AVG?
Well, Fusion 360, just for those who don't know, little knowledge dump here. Fusion 360 is what's known as a parametric modeler, meaning it's designed to deal with shapes that are made up of mathematically defined surfaces and overarching functions. Like this is part of a cylinder, this is part of a sphere, this is where these two shapes intersect. When you bring in an STL file, which is just a surface, Fusion 360 looks at it and go, huh? What is this? What do you want me to do with this? It's just flat.
You can. Do you guys try to convert? Do you guys ever convert to BREP?
You can, but
that's
you have to
that's
have
the only way.
insanely low poly count number.
Okay, I think we just got the answer for ramps. Do we?
Yeah.
Put it in chat, Daniel.
I'm still looking.
I think 3D Manic Vince got it.
Pololu shield.
Yep.
And that's Pololu spelled P-O-L-O-L-U. So breaking that down, what it means is rep, we all know that. Arduino Mega, we all know that. Pololu is the form factor of this type of stepper driver.
Mm-hmm.
And it's referring to the fact that this is a shield.
Pololu is a brand.
Yep. Although they were one of their big breaks, so to speak, was that they popularized this form factor for stepper driver with this type of pinout where you've got, yeah.
But wasn't it Texas Instruments who open sourced that stepper design?
Could be. I'm not sure about that.
Did they actually
Pololu was the one with their Allegro drivers. Pololu made them like super cheap and everywhere, and like now everybody was using those.
Hey, we didn't say you couldn't use Google Net, did we, guys?
Yeah, no, Google's fair game.
Yeah.
In real life, you can use Google.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, guys. But continue on talking.
There is a lot to talk about, I do suppose. Okay, on the freebies, does anyone have anything else?
Yeah, I know you guys were talking about freebies, so
Mostly just stickers and maker coins.
yeah, same
The
here.
CD drives, that was a cool freebie. That probably takes the cake, I think, right?
Yeah, maybe so. I'm really happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Nice.
Yeah. What's cool amongst like the 15 other projects I want to get around to, as we all do, I know. I want to make a. So the problem with these here, I have one right here. The problem with these CD drives right here, you can see those 4 holes on the corners. The problem is that those are non-standard. They're all different. So that makes
Really? So each drive is not standard?
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
The hole sizes and the distances and all that.
Dang. Can you clamp on anything else? What of it is standard? Like
Nothing is
rail
standard.
spacing standard?
I think the rail size are the closest thing to being standard. So what I want to do is make a. Well, okay. Let me get the printer out. Actually.
All right. Let's see.
So it's kind of a. Oh, by the way, I just built this shelf from Home Depot, and this thing is awesome. Like, if you guys don't have a shelf for your printers, highly recommended.
Yeah, I got a plastic one.
Yeah, this thing is solid, and it's just really, really great. So
Jacob's becoming somewhat of an expert on shelves. He and Barrett have been talking about that, I know.
yeah. All right. So what I did with this one, there's a lot of printed parts on them, even though you might not be able to see them. See these black parts right here? Those are printed, and I had to line these up perfectly with bolts and all that. And then I hot glued it to reinforce it because you can't really screw up an empty bolt, directly into plastic very well. So the problem is that I had to CAD model all that and make sure all the distances were right. Took a few different models actually to get that right. But what would be nice is if I could kind of standardize the idea of taking an EWaste printer and making it much more accessible for maybe education or something. Is taking those rods and putting them into printed bases instead of these metal ones, and then just putting a lead screw on there onto this little plate that moves back and forth, and then you can implement that into one standard design. And I think that would be a lot more useful for teachers and things like that who are working in schools to try to get kids interested in it and things like that.
Sure, then you can actually do stuff with it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Because otherwise, it like this thing. One, it's really hard to get motivated to go tune stepper drivers in your basement all day, because that was one thing. But then knowing that you have to CAD model all these really specific parts is kind of draining. But so I think that if I could take the boring parts out of it, it'd be a much more fun experience to build and be more captivating and all that.
Here's another thought. Could you, well, let's see, the whole spacings, not only the whole diameters are non-standards, but are the whole spacings non-standard, like right to left, up, down, all that?
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't line. I have about 20 of these. I don't think I could line a single one up.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Could you create an adapter that's got like 45-degree angled slots? You know what I'm talking about? And you just put it over that, and wherever they line up, you screw them in.
That's something that I think I need to see exactly what you're talking about. But even the size of that casing is non-standard, and it can deviate quite a bit. So yeah, like I said, it's just. You need a lot of hot glue, one, but I think a printed design would be a lot better. So
I want to see you make a mini cupcake.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that'd be sweet. But
we've got laser cutters if you need it.
Yeah, I'm looking into buying one. They are a bit expensive, but they have these Chinese ones that are really affordable, and they have a lot of opportunity if you want to sell a product or anything like that. So adding that as a tool to my arsenal of printers, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So, and very useful, like I said.
Luke playing with lasers. I don't know. Maybe a little dangerous.
A little bit dangerous, yeah. Got to wear your safety protection and all that.
That reminds me, I've got a fun project that involves lasers to talk to you about. You're going to get a kick out of this.
Oh boy.
But, can't talk about it on air yet. I haven't ever talked about it on air, I don't think.
Yeah, that's why.
Jacob knows the one you're talking about.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
I'll just say Cartesian. Remember?
Oh. I think.
Yeah, you know now. Anyway. So yeah, it'll be.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I know, right? I've still been chewing on that. I have that on the back burner. I figured out. I didn't tell you this. I figured out a new way to save some space on that, so the footprint is a bit more efficient. But anyway, lately all I've been working on is my Core XYT and the Core YX that I've been doing. But those will be ready for prime time soon.
I'm going to look at the chat and see what is happening.
Yes, Barrett. We have so many fun things up our sleeves. Yeah, say, Luke, I was thinking about this. We mentioned this, but building a K40 from scratch, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Laser cutters.
Yeah.
It seems like the first thing people do when they get a K40 is they rip it apart and throw all these mods on it. They're like the Ender 3, or rather, like the Ender 3 is the K40 of printers.
Yeah.
Nobody uses them stock. Nobody uses them stock.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe like 1% of people. So honestly, why not just like scratch build one? You know, you can get improved power supplies, and this and that, and all that other stuff. The motion systems are no problem. You know, we're used to designing that sort of thing.
I drew this. Can't see it, but I drew this a while back. It's a laser cutter design. I'd really like. You can build one out of like 2020 extrusion and all that. Really think that you can make it affordable and even more powerful. I wouldn't go with the K40 because it's actually more like a 30-watt laser. You probably know that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go with anything like less than 80. I've got a 60-watt cutter at work, and it's nice, but there's still a lot to be desired, especially after using the 180-watt cutter we've got at the makerspace here in town.
You're just spoiled. You're just spoiled.
Yeah, right.
We get a lot done on our Glowforge here. That's like 40 or 45 watts, I think. So yeah, and you can buy like 50 or 60-watt tubes, and I would run those probably 5 or 10 watts below, just because then they last a much longer time. But yeah, I was thinking run it on V-slot, run it with, just a laser cut acrylic frame. You could really make it very, very rigid.
Exactly.
Another thing about that, though, there's something on the Glowforge that's really nice that I like, and that's to minimize the amount of tube alignment you have to do. They actually hitch the tube on the back of the gantry so that the tube travels with you. Yeah, you seen that?
Yeah.
I like that detail because then you don't have to do your three-way, you got a mirror, and another mirror, and another.
Does the Glowforge require a water chiller?
No, it's internal.
Interesting.
Glowforge is a really nice machine. It's not the most powerful, but it even has the camera that you can put things on into the software.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
You see,
it's no K40 for sure.
Glowforge was like the Kickstarter, and the machines they have right now are really just a marketing tool for other laser manufacturers to incorporate their software. Because that's the real kicker with the Glowforge machine.
What do you mean?
Do they license software to other companies? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I think their goal is.
Possibly. Although their software is pretty dependent on the features that their machine has.
Yeah.
Right.
With the auto height sensing and the camera in it, being able to scan stuff. And
right.
So unless people started incorporating those hardware changes.
Wanted that ease of use, they would make the effort to put it in.
They might be able to sell it and license it.
I'd take that any day over RD Works.
I kind of want to build a Core XY laser cutter.
Yeah.
Just ridiculously fast. But the problem with that is if you're doing that, Core XY is well suited to systems where the carriage is a significant amount of weight and the gantry axis doesn't weigh that much, because then it's more isotropic in acceleration. And on a laser cutter, if you were carrying the tube along with the gantry, it would be very heavy, but the moving head is very light. So honestly, Core XY might not be the best.
Well, Daniel, you reach a point with the laser where, especially if you're doing a scan path thing with an engrave, that the more you jack your speed up, the sloppier just the resolution of your scan gets.
Yeah, because you run into thermodynamic, like the laser literally can only burn so fast,
Yeah, there's a point where, when you get above like 150 or 200 millimeters a second X travels, that it doesn't matter and you're wasting time.
Well, you know me, I like to minimize travel times because on very detailed designs where you're cutting a lot of things, not just engraving back and forth, but you're actually tracing vectors, not just rasters. I think it can be useful to have high acceleration capabilities, so you could just hop from place to place super fast. But yeah, for the average user, it doesn't matter that much.
Red light, yes. Okay, So for those of you who don't know, Red Light actually gave me the DC drives, and no, I do not need any more. I have quite a bit right now, so I think that won't be a problem. But thank you.
You're going to become the global dump for people that have piles of these.
Hey, if they got piles of them, I'll take them.
Yeah.
You're going to become the guy.
No, I'd like to take a shot at trying to build it,
I
honestly.
kind of want to try building one of these too. It looks really fun.
Yeah.
It is.
Although
Yeah, it is.
with a twist, I want to try building a Delta. With
Ooh.
I was thinking about that. That. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Okay, that's something that I would love to try to do. Because
That'd be cool.
honestly, myself, like, as all you know, my mathematics and my skill sets here in 3D printing is not where my brains are at. Like, my brains are in auto mechanics, mechanical stuff. That end, yeah, I may run circles around you guys in that sense, but the idea of like understanding the millimeters, understand that goes a little bit over my head, granted. But building is something I've always had fun doing. Soldering, building, crafting, milling. I've done it all in high school. So
Yeah, back when shop class was a common thing, right?
yeah, like I could make, like, I learned how to do freaking drill bits in high school. That's impressive learning.
Yeah, if anybody wants to do that, I really want to see it take off. I'd love, like, next year to see like 4 or 5 of these printers there. Because like I said, it's not my idea, it's just my implementation. But I think that people could definitely, like with the Delta idea, I think that'd be sweet. There's a lot of challenges to overcome, and you kind of are limited in space. But that would be awesome to see. I would love to see a Delta. I also thought of I did like an i3 style moving bed. I would really like to see an XY table or an XY nozzle. That wouldn't be hard to do. And
Also, one thing to go along with that XY idea, I was thinking it would be neat to have a quad wrap made with these. You double them up, 2 to a stepper driver, have them on the right, left sides of the bed, and one on the front back, and you just throw a beam across each. Again, you're pretty limited in build area, but
yeah,
man, it could actually be pretty fast. Honestly.
Yeah. You kind of run into with these motors are really small, and high accelerations are really the bane of their existence. They
Well, being able to double up 2 motors to an axis. Yeah. You've got twice the torque.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm just checking our numbers. So far, we have 7 ups, 1 down. Who voted us down?
I don't know. Some user. Just kidding.
Come on, guys. Thumb us up, man. I have a feeling I know who the person was. Probably Barrett.
I'm gonna go like it just to make sure it gets up there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really shocked to say that I'm just a little jealous that how Luke got up to 461 subscribers.
Wait, check it out.
Dude, congratulations.
Right now. 502. Yeah, I've been ecstatic all day. I'm at like 500 now. Let's check. Yeah, 500. So
500, really well.
Yeah, it was
when did the big push come in? Was it
after Tom? No, well, I was at 30 before Murph, 100 a few days after, and then Tom just dropped this video.
Got it.
Kind of the interview and all that, and it's just been shooting up all day. And I did a little bit. He gets 30,000 a video about, and the conversion rate that I was getting was 0.5. So by the end of the whole thing, it's possible that I might be over 1,000, which would be insane. I mean, yeah, I've been ecstatic.
Yeah, I'm just impressed because, I mean, as soon as Tom's video dropped, like when my video dropped, I noticed you got a big bump also from my videos. Yeah, and I was like, I'm watching and I'm going, okay, I just dropped the video and he's already at 105. And then it was 107, 108. I'm watching this go live. And as I'm seeing my views go up, I was seeing your subs go up every so often. I was like going, okay, so I helped him out a little bit. Great. Then Tom dropped it and you just went, boom.
Yeah, exactly. And Inside the Mind of Matt, you guys might be familiar with. He also interviewed me.
Yeah, well, you actually were more impressive this year than you were last year. I really wanted to interview you last year, but you left before I could even talk to you about it.
Yeah, Tom actually wanted to interview me last year too, but I had to leave Sunday. So It was unfortunate, but
You're one of the youngest people in this space, like doing the full shebang. You know, you're building your own printers, you're designing stuff, you're tweaking the firmware, you're tuning stepper drivers, you're coming up with brand new designs, all that sort of stuff. It's very impressive from somebody your age.
Oh, thank you. I have a lot to learn, like I said, and but
Don't we
the
all?
best is yet to come. So, I with what I'm learning, I've got some really cool designs and projects that I hope to get out there. So yeah, I guess that's all there is. But I like to learn as much as I can. So
Good. There's a lot out there to learn. Anybody who says
There
they've
is.
learned everything or they think they've run out of stuff to learn is
Idiots.
just not looking. Yeah,
Yeah.
that means they're dumb.
yeah, they're worse than dumb. They're foolish. Yeah.
One printer that really
That's
blew
right.
me away, just to ask you guys what you thought about it, was the Delta that actually where the table lifted. What did you guys think about that one?
Okay, I thought
yes,
a
the
little
big
bit
white one.
impractical. Yeah. I talked to the guy. Really cool mechanism. Never been done before. I thought it was like for me. I don't really need it, but for like people who don't want to mess up their backs and knees and all that, I thought it was awesome. Really cool printer design.
Yeah.
For
I can
myself,
see it being useful for somebody with, you know, maybe limited mobility, or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it's kind of like a, well, actually, yeah, you might say it's kind of a accessibility thing. If
You
you're
know,
a
the
3D
only
printer
thing that I
hobbyist
didn't get
in a
about
wheelchair
that-
and you wanted a tall build volume, maybe that's the way to go. I don't know.
Right, but even if you have the tall build volume, it's still gonna come down to be able to lift it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you're
It
limited,
needs
not
to
just
be
the
its
size.
own separate driver system to raise.
That'd be
it.
nice. Yeah.
yeah. Well, he's still working on it. Like he says, this is revision number 5 out of. He hopes to have 3 more revisions to do before he gets it nailed down. Because I was talking with him privately, and I said, for a person like myself, who you guys don't experience it yet, but wait until you get older, you will experience something called
How old are
knee
you, Ron?
problems. It happens to us all.
How old are you,
Yeah.
Ron?
I'm the oldest in this whole group. Okay,
He's 65.
I am 43 years old.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was born 1976. I was born when
Right.
Star Wars came out.
Oh no, really?
Oh yes,
Kidding.
that's
How about
why I know. That's why, when I was a kid, I fell in love with Star Wars. Just saying.
Well,
But
you're
anyways-
not old enough to be my dad. I'll say that. My dad remembers when Star Wars came out. He and his buddies saw it like a whole bunch of times in a row. It stayed in the theaters for so long.
Do you know that the first Star Wars was not the original cut? The first cut for Star Wars actually had Luke sitting on, staring up at the sky, and he looks up and he goes, "There must be a war up there," and that's when it cuts to the Imperial starship shooting at Princess Leia's ship.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the war. Now they cut a little bit of that off. There's also another scene that they cut from the original movie, and I can't remember where it was exactly. But yeah, it was cut right there, and they removed it out of the movie, and it's never been seen again. Now the remake did add a lot of those extra scenes that they did cut because of time. Stuff like let me just get that from like the scenes from, say, when that we had re-edited back in, like the it wasn't Boba Fett. It was supposed to be Boba Fett, but it was actually Jabba the Hutt. They encoded in and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like knowing all that type of stuff. It's interesting.
Here, give me 1 second, guys.
Yep.
Hello.
Okay. Looks like we got a mute Dan too. I'll mute Dan. There we go.
And then there were 2.
Just me and you. Yep. Sorry, Luke. If you want to come back in, you're muted. Just unmute yourself. But
Got it. Thanks.
yeah. But what I was going to say is that what I found just going cutting stuff and everything else made me think about, having my knees the way they are now and bending down. It actually hurts. Now, I am rare. I have 2 serious knee injuries, and I'm going to have to go for knee replacement in a few years. I've already been told that. I have no other course. I've been told your knees are going to have to be replaced by at a certain age.
Are you gonna get printed knees?
What's your
Maybe
thing of that?
I might have printed knees by then.
Titanium. Titanium. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're talking about right now. They are talking titanium is probably going to be the type of knees I'll end up with special types of sponges that can absorb the pressure I push into them. That's why I mostly don't walk around a lot because of that knee problem.
So speaking of printed titanium, I need to go get something. I'll be right back.
Okay. But yeah. So the new stuff I want to see that's coming out. What else do I want to bring up into this conversation? It was important and I can't remember it now. Go figure. But let's say hi to everybody that we got still in here. So we got Barrett, my friend Rover's in the house, Minnesota Maker. We got Papa Top coming in. Hey, Papa Top, how you doing, buddy? And also Red Light, of course. Who's always chatting. Love Red Light for that. That's why he has a nice little ratchet. Let's see.
All right.
Okay.
This is somebody who worked at GE gave this to me at Murph. This is a 3D printed. It's not, the camera's not doing it justice again. It's a 3D printed titanium DMLS. Yeah, direct metal laser sintering printed part out of titanium. Just a small little ball, but it's really
Did
strong.
you get it from Bill? Or from
what was
somebody
his name?
else?
You mean Bill Steele?
Yeah, Bill Steele is head of research for GE Additive.
Yeah, I knew that. I talked to Bill for a long time. Awesome guy, but this was someone else, and they gave me this, so that was pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, Jacob. Sorry. I muted you, Daniel. So if you want to come in, just unmute your microphone, and you'll be able to talk.
No problem. Hey, everybody, I am back.
Welcome back, Lord Daniel.
Welcome back,
So-
Daniel.
Mr. D just joined us in the chat. He's working on he has a Core XY printer, if I remember correctly, and his Core XY is humongous. D, do you remember what the size is? I think it's like 500 by 700, is it?
Can I see this on Facebook or Google Plus is defunct now?
I don't know.
I love troubleshooting printers, especially Core Y.
Well, no, he's just building it now.
Especially. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, running high. Daniel's back. That's right.
Let's talk about linear rails. No, just kidding.
Yes, 400 by 400 by 580. So that's 400 by 400 square XY, and you've got a 580 millimeter height. What are you using for a format or implementation? Are you doing DBOT, CBOT? Are you doing Hypercube? Are you doing something with linear rails? Or are you taking more of like a rail core approach? What's your take on this?
So, actually, that brings up a good question, Daniel. What are the key differences between DBOT, Railcore, and Hypercube?
Okay, so Railcore is a what they call a clean slate, blank sheet of paper, just from its own design. Basically, just trying to make something as rigid and nice printing as possible. A DBOT is a printer that comes from the CBOT, made by Spouta 01 on Thingiverse, and it came from this new type of V-wheel construction, and it's a little more heavy duty. It's also kind of expensive to build. It's easy for a build to cost somewhere between $600 and $1,000, but all things considered, they do print very, very well. If you sink in the money, they need a lot of V-wheels. That's why the hardware really adds up. A Hypercube is an interesting printer that now has evolved into the Hypercube Evo. A Hypercube originally was envisioned as this printer that takes the motion components from a Chinese i3 clone, basically moves them around and throws them onto a frame of 2020 or 3030 later is also an acceptable change. People have modded this thing so much. I mean, there's so many different designs and alterations floating around out there. But basically just trying to see what kind of Quartz can you make out of like an Aina A8. And for that, you know, with the compromises that requires in mind, it's a pretty good printer. Hypercube Evo takes it a step further and says, how good a performance can we do with this basic sort of form factor? Now, Hypercube Evo, Hypercube, in my opinion, is good up to about 300 by 300 because it's designed for 200 by 200. So you can scale things up a certain amount. Hypercube Evo is a little better, but maybe scales up to about, you can do 300 by 300 or 350 by 350. But if you crunch the deflection calcs, it starts to get a little bit wobbly as is at about 400 by 400. And I would not go any bigger than 500 by 500. It's just too big for it. I saw somebody building a 600 by 600 in one of the Hypercube groups. Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Because you were learning, Luke, deflections go up by the cube of the increase in beam length.
Yeah.
So it's
what a task.
yeah. He came back later and was like, my 8mm steel rods are flopping all over the place.
Oh yeah.
We told you.
Well, besides the fact that Core XY, you just shouldn't take it that far. I mean, it's not meant for long designs like that or big.
Yeah, if you scale it that big, you need big belts, big belts,
big belts and beefy. You know, you don't want it
rails. Really, one of the big problems with the Hypercube design when you scale it up is that you're not scavenging extra stiffness from the frame. You don't even by scavenging. If you're using fully backed rails like MGN series rails, something like a high wind or tri-wind, like Jacob and I say, we're using SBR rails. Those can, when mounted onto a frame of aluminum extrusion, get extra stiffness for your motion system because that's what matters. If your frame is the stiffest thing in the world and you're stretching a little 8mm rod between them and it's bending all over the place, but your frame is stiff, it doesn't matter how stiff your frame ended up being. Your motion system is still going to bend. So using 3030 is good for 12mm Z support rods, he says. That can work. Dual Z motors, sure. Honestly, dual motor 4-rod systems are not my favorite in the world after finding it difficult to align my FT5. But they can work when done well. Personally, I am much more of a fan of the single, yes, everything's 10mm, 12mm. That's excellent. 10mm rods are an appropriate size for a 400mm square. Now, if you were using 9mm wide belts, which I think would also be appropriate for that size, I bet you'd be getting some really good print quality at some nice accelerations.
What do you think about the Chinese linear rails, like MGN 12s?
They're hit and miss. The problem with MGN rails, well, not problem. Sorry. One of the features in the design is that they need to be made very precisely. When they're made precisely, and you have good control over the amount of preload that they have, they can make an excellent motion system. However, when you make them in a factory that has a little bit sloppier grinding and you're trying to punch them through your assembly line as fast as possible, you may need to mate a couple blocks to rails to get the fit and the preload that you're really looking for. Sometimes it can be hit and miss. Sometimes you can get little gritty spots in the rails. Sometimes you can get spots where the surface finish isn't consistent. It just depends. It's hit or miss. Order a couple more than you need because then you'll have the ability to swap them around.
Yeah, okay. Would it be better to just buy like a bunch of Chinese rails or the genuine high wind stuff?
Genuine high wind, if you get it, you won't regret it. I'll put it that way. But you are going to be spending quite a bit more. Quite a bit more. But you take care of high wind rails and they will last you forever. I mean, the loads we're putting on them and printers, like nothing compared to what they're rated for. You get them with a light preload. They come in different preload levels. Get the lightest one that still has some preload, so there's no slop. They'll have no wiggle, no resonance, no chatter, but they will still move very smoothly.
Very nice.
That's actually one of my gripes about using Chinese linear rails. the cheap ones, the knockoffs for stuff like deltas. With deltas, the direction of loading on all three of the towers can vary quite a bit as it prints, and the motion is slopping back and forth. So you kind of need something with a little bit of preload in the linear rail for that to work well. Otherwise, you're actually a little bit better off as far as noise goes using V wheels, because with V wheels you can adjust the preload and they're very smooth, as all the CR10 users out there know.
So I'm looking at. Let's see if I can do this screen share thing. Looks like I can't. Okay. Anyway, I'm looking at something on eBay. I'm looking at a Delta. Because eventually one of my projects is building a fully printed Delta, like the Snappy or the Molbot, something like that. But it would actually use a rack and pinion system on 3 parallel arms, a Delta. But before I do that, I want to kind of learn the ins and outs of Delta printers and things.
Learn from Tico. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, it's because it would be a lot. I think if I could perfect the motion system, it would be a good printer. And the goal is to make a rep printer, fully rep printer. So, yeah,
right.
It's not going to be a Tico for sure. And it's not
printed Delta.
One of the problems with that is it's difficult to adjust for parallelism in rail systems like that. You can hand fit things by sanding them. However, that can be a bit of a pain. I actually have not, to date, seen a really good printed slider working in the vertical orientation with changing loads.
Okay,
it's just tricky. It's much easier to do it vertically with loads sitting on it, like dovetail sort of thing, but in reverse, like you saw on Snappy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, rep Snappy is
I was actually surprised at how many Snappies I saw running at the show.
I saw 2 or 3.
I saw 2 or 3 as well. It's a nice rep design. It's very highly printed, not so many vitamins in it. It's a bit clunky compared to the build volume, but that's one of the compromises that you have to make.
I was thinking one of them. Yeah. I was actually looking at doing one of them, but at the time, and by the time I get down there with traveling as far as it would be traveling, I was a little worried that it would fall apart, personally myself. But it was an idea. Oh, sorry about the yawning here, guys. It's just hitting me today. I've been like on overdrive for the last 5 days, so it's just been
join the club.
Oh, it's like after I got back from Murph, it's like I really don't want to do anything, but I had to get up early every morning to get to these places that are only open from 9 to 5, and it's just like, get home. It's like, I'm out of energy. And I have to edit the video, which I got the next 4 interviews done. They should be going up, I'm hoping, by Tuesday. So, yeah. Yay. Which should be some interesting interviews. I actually got to interview Bill Steele, so that's very coming up soon. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. I'll be watching that.
Bill Steele talked about your design, the T-Bot, which
did he really?
Really impressed me, yeah. I wish that everybody came around because I told the guys to go see you.
He brought a couple people past. He brought, I think, Ben Heck and maybe Chuck Hellebuck. I can't remember.
It was.
He brought a couple people past.
I know Barnacle really was impressed with it.
Was he really?
JT was not JT Chapman. He was impressed by it. He was really impressed.
Was he? Huh?
Same with who else? Ben Heck. I know he talked about it.
The 3D printing nerd get a chance to hop over there? Did you see?
No, he did not.
Okay. He was talking about. Chris P was saying that he was planning on stopping over there, but I don't know if he got a chance.
Pruja heard about it. He looked at it and it was like, okay. Walked away. So I don't know if your good plan is going to get ripped off or not.
Nah, I wouldn't be concerned.
Pruja stole your design.
You see that T-shirt?
Yeah.
You guys see the T-shirt? Well, you know where that originated. Where I think it originated, right?
I know exactly where it originated from.
Yeah. What was that name?
Design, prototype, and test. What a brat.
That's it. I know.
Okay. He has become I like to call him the troll with a video channel.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, 10 to 1. I'm like, every time I watched a video of his was Prusa stole this or
it's so
YouTube
idiotic.
is against me.
Yeah.
I'm like going,
Yeah, he just complained.
dude, you have 22K viewers.
It's
That
like
is
he
how
went
he's getting the
crazy.
views.
Who is
I think
this?
for his
Yeah, yeah.
complaining.
Design prototype test.
Yeah, well, he used to have good videos, like on a little CNC machine and all this, but he just kind of like went off this crazy track of saying like, you know, get on your tinfoil hat and all this, and he's like, and well, first of all, the fact that he just talked about designs, a lot of these designs that he came up with, he literally just mentioned them. He didn't actually build them.
No, I
Yeah.
know.
But he's still gonna go out and say, Prusa stole my idea. It's a design that I literally mentioned. I said, go do something with it. And then when someone did something with it, I get mad and I whine about it, you know?
Yeah, and I remember I talked to Shane. I said, so Shane, you're Asian now? He started laughing. He's like, yeah, and supposedly thin too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. What was one of the?
because I walked by
estimates we
Shane.
had? It was for a temperature compensated probe, right?
End of probe.
Yeah.
Which has been done in industry like all the time. That's nothing new. They've been doing that for decades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny because as I'm walking by Shane at ERF, and I was just joking around with him, I like, oh man, they let you in? They're just going to let everyone in now? He's like, oh, shut up. And I said, so how you feel being Asian? He's like, yeah, I'm Asian and I'm thin too. You know, that's how the local conversation
Yeah.
started.
You've seen the videos.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, sure. We have he's like, yeah, you know, I'm like, how do I join your comment farm? And he's like, oh, okay, here's how you do it. You just talk to Prusa. He'll give you a form. You fill it out. And then you just sit in front of the computer. Whenever his videos come on, you just go into the forums and you type, Prusa's the best, Prusa's the best, blah.
Yeah.
Bruce a fanboy, am I right?
Yeah, we were joking around about that. I couldn't get near Prusa to ask him about the SLA printer because the fanboys were crowding over Prusa so much.
What do you guys think about the whole? Okay, I don't want to go on anybody's toes here, but what do you guys think about the whole Prusa? It almost seems like he's building up a personality more than a printer, and I don't know exactly how to phrase this, but it seems like he's putting his name on everything. It almost, I don't know what to think about it. What's your guys' opinion? Going on the fanboy thing, you know.
Well,
I think.
it's like,
Go ahead, Jacob.
it's like he's gone through the evolution of running a business where you know when you start out, you're the engineer, you're the production guy, you're doing the bookkeeping and all
Your
that
marketing,
fun stuff.
your advertisement.
As you grow and expand, and you're the person leading this thing, you know, eventually you have to step away from some of that stuff and just be the personality. So
and I'm not saying he did anything wrong with that, but it's almost like he's built up. Again, I'm totally gonna make people mad with this, but like almost like an ego of. You know, going past the community and saying, you know, Prusa is the the quintessential rep rap. You know, it's like something about it is, I don't know what to think. I want to see your opinion.
Here's my opinion on the whole thing is that, you know, even though Prusa is, and yes, he has a name, he has a brand, he is a person. The thing is that when he built that MK2 and the MK3 printers, they are hard, solid printers. You don't hear people saying, you know, oh, I can't get my Prusa to print. What am I doing wrong? Those Prusas are built.
Yeah.
The software is built. Everything is built so it just works.
I think the fact that, you know, the statement that they have a farm of 300 plus of their own machines making their parts, you know, that in itself is a testament to how good they are. That they can sustain what's their current output, like 10,000 plus machines a month, working on that model. Like that's
it
remarkable.
works. Yeah,
I know Daniel has something to say, so Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about name recognition and branding. Although I typed that in the chat, that's about to pop up. So. Yeah. Is that what you thought I was going to say?
No, I thought you were going to say you could do something better.
Well, I could certainly engineer a better printer as far as printing, printer parts. But could I market it? Could I design it to be mass producible? Could I run the books? No way. No. I can't do that.
Yeah, and it's just like Never Let the Machines Win. Mike said their support is top notch too, and I have to agree with him on that one. I've dealt with Prusa's tech support for a friend for his Prusa. It was Shane I actually got, which was kind of funny to begin with. But I remember sending an email back, and the reply back was from Shane. I went, "Oh, thanks, Shane. This is Ron, CMP." He sent it back to him. He's like, "I thought I knew this email address." But no, we were. My friend was having a problem with his project. Couldn't get the probe lining up with the dots, and then we went over a few things that you think the probe might have been defaulted. So sending a new probe to him. We've installed it and it worked. So yay! But yeah, it's just
nothing against him. He makes great printers, obviously. Maybe I'm listening to too much design prototype test, right?
You are.
But I just don't. Yeah. Again, great printers, but I think the whole fanboy thing might be a little bit too advanced.
Yeah.
But
I have a couple of memes about that. Some of the most rabid fanboys. I don't want to say rabid, but you know what I mean. So I would say vocally evangelical. You know what I mean? Are Prusas.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see it anywhere else.
Probably earned it. Yeah. You don't really see it anywhere else. In their eyes, he's probably earned it. Good support. Pretty good. Machine components.
Yeah, like I would like to go and own a Prusa. Don't get me wrong. I don't own one. I can't afford one. Why am I hearing hammering?
That would be on my end. Sorry. I'm in the makerspace and people hammer stuff.
Are they? I thought the makerspace was closed at this hour. No, not today. Okay.
Okay, hammering has stopped. I unmuted.
Yeah, we need to stop Apple. Fanboys are a bad thing. Yes.
Yeah. Fanboys. They are what they are.
If
you're making good product, people will fanboy. And there will be haters for every company.
Yeah.
And I'm not that at all. Obviously, the printers are great, the company's great, the software is great. So that's obviously not what I'm trying to say at all. But I just thought the fanboy is obviously what I have a problem with. But that you can't avoid that with a good printer, obviously. So yeah.
Well,
the fact of the matter is, it's not really designed for people like us, Luke. It's designed for people who just want to plug it in and print. That's why it's got XY compensation, or SKU compensation. That's why it's got such a full-featured and well-tested auto-leveling system. That's why it's got all these macros that help you load and unload filament. That's why it's got filament runout sensors. And this and that.
If somebody would have dumped a large amount of money on me at work, that's what I would have bought.
Prusas.
Yeah.
When
I originally got my batch funding, I had looked at that, but they had no U.S. resellers, so I couldn't buy it because of government procurement.
That's why you went with the Robos, right?
Yeah.
Those Robos were... I would love to have one Robo just to see how they are, and then I would like to give it to you, Jacob, and see you tear it to shreds again.
Well, he's still got the Robos,
Oh, you still got the Robos?
He's got them in a back room. Yeah, Jacob, tell the story.
So last year in March, once we officially it was right before Murph that we officially decommissioned them. And when the principal came and I came in and I walked through,
is code for they ran themselves into the ground because you printed too much on them.
Yeah. And the Friday before Murph last year, the principal came in and I took like an hour and a half and I explained to him everything that had went wrong on all of these machines. I told him, like, I spent 2 months doing all kinds of tests and troubleshooting to try and like see, can we salvage this? And there was no hope. And so after Murph, me and my students, we ripped every screw out, totally gutted them. There's a closet with a shelf of all of the robo parts. Daniel got to see it. He opened the door and he's like, "Oh my god!"
So what are you going to do with all those parts now?
So the original plan was we were going to design a little like a 6-inch cubed machine and just build 8 or 10 machines out of those parts because the electronics were still good. So, we have 10 power supplies. We've got about 30 stepper motors, 10 really good ramps boards, and
they're like
really good
original
geared
ramps.
extruders. And so we spent about a month working on a small design, and when I put a bill of materials together for it, with a reasonable budget. In order to meet that budget, we'd have had to order parts from like Robot Dig and stuff, where it was coming from China, and that government procurement thing came up of like, you can't do that. So
Well, if you order them from so you have to order them from a U.S. company, correct?
Yes, I have to order. There are exceptions to the rule, but it has to be like an extreme exception.
Okay.
So
I may have an idea, but I'll have to explain to you after the show.
Yeah, so like we had this one time where we were purchasing this photogrammetry software from Russia, and the school has like a slush fund for emergencies, recreational activities, and stuff. And we ended up purchasing it through there in order to get it. So, but we ended up buying 5 flash forges.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the flash
forges. Yeah, they've been performing pretty well.
Yeah.
Jacob's got a story about that too.
David died.
You killed the flash forges?
I set one of them on fire back in January.
What the heck were you doing to the flash forge to set it on fire?
Poor thing.
So I took off the left extruder because the left extruder is a pain in the butt to do maintenance on, and that's the one that has the cooling duct going to it. You have to remove like 6 screws to totally service it, and that's when you're working on production, that's not worth your time. So we ripped the left extruder off of all of them, printed a fan duct that went in its place, plopped the fan on top, and then had to rewire some things on the mighty board. And the first time we did it, I got the wires wrong because the wiring for the original blower fan and the wiring for the new fan were different. And
I still am not exactly sure what you did, but
negative to positive, positive, negative. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, that would blow.
Protected. I mean,
not
letting
quite.
the magic smoke out, I can understand. You guys have heard the magic smoke thing?
Oh yeah.
Magic smoke is, for anybody who hasn't heard, electronics run on magic smoke, and you know this because if you hook them up wrong and you let the magic smoke out, they stop working.
Yes,
scientific. Yep, scientific.
Well, I remember when Mike wired his board and magic smoke came out of his board of an MKS Gen L board. We all remember that day, don't we, D?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, MKS boards are harder to fry. Well,
Mike was able to get it done, so I applaud Mike for that.
I haven't boinked a duet board yet. I figured I would have
won.
done that by now.
Oh,
yeah.
boy. Speaking of boards, I know I dropped this question on you, but you never answered me back. For you, Daniel, when I said, okay, because I know you answered back and you went, ooh, good question, and then you never came back to it. I asked you, okay, so say if I take a CR10 and I want to go dual extruder on it, would an MKS Gen board be the way to go, or would I have to go with a Rance board?
So
Either or.
For clarity, just to clarify, a ramps like a 1.4 remember that stands for Rep Arduino Mega Pololu Shield, stuck on top of a Arduino Mega with Pololu form factor drivers sitting on top of it is electrically identical to those MKS boards. Or should I say the other way around? The MKS boards are electrically identical to them, because everything is open source in the Arduino, the ramps, and then the stepper drivers. So some companies, and this is by far the most common type of AT Mega 2560 based board out there, they basically just took the electrical layout of the 3 stages, got rid of the fact that there's 3 levels of PCBs, crammed them all down onto one plane.
Yeah.
Let software do the layout, and now you've got a single board PCB. Now MKS boards come in 2 variants among that type, where it's based on the Mega 2560. So I'm not talking about like the S base or something like that, which is that runs smoothly by default. That's a 32-bit. But anyway, there are some versions like the Gen 1.4 that actually have stepper drivers separately. Like you have to put below the stepper drivers on them. So they're just a combination of the Arduino and the ramps. And then there are some like the base 1.5, which have stepper drivers on the board. That's what I'm running on one of my printers. I'm actually running one of each on both. But for example, the base 1.5 has Allegro A4982s, which are very similar to the 4988s, except that I think they just have a little less current.
Yeah, I think you're right on the current part.
But they're nice. I mean, that's what printer boards use, and they're fine.
Yeah, because the reason I asked that is because I'm thinking to myself, if I'm going to be building and working on the CR10 and replacing its board, because let's face it, the CR10 board is a piece of bleh. The thing is that if I'm replacing that board, I want to be able that I can run the Marlin 2.0 when it comes out, because that's going to be 32 based, and I really don't want to be dealing with legacy software, because we all know what happens with legacy software. It just bleh. And that's why I'm saying, like, would an MKS board be the better way to go, because it can run 32-bit operating system on itself.
You should get
rather
a Duet
than
Maestro.
Oh, I would love to go with a Duet Maestro if I had the cash.
The Maestro looks like a good board. Not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical about it being kind of spearheaded by M3D, but apparently they're shipping, and apparently it's a good board. So
yeah,
their Pro Mega is 2 years late. They're still not done filling those.
I would love.
It's obsolete.
I love the idea of going with the multi-tool. With
Daniel,
E3Ds
the Pro Mega uses those same tiny belts that the Mini MakerBot does.
The what?
The Pro Mega.
The Mini MakerBot use? No, not that small, is it? I thought they were like 5 millimeters or something like that. They're not a full 6. It's smaller. I don't think they're the teeny tiny ones, though.
They're teeny tiny. They're like rubber bands. Grant has one.
Yeah, I'll have to take a closer look at that.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to head out, unfortunately.
All right, nice talking to you,
in the stream. Yes, you as well.
So, guys, if you want to follow
what time zone are you?
I am in Central Time Zone.
Okay, same as me. That's right. I forgot.
But anyways, if you guys are interested in Luke, follow him on his channel.
Sure thing.
Making with Luke. He has a really good channel. I'm a little jealous of the subs he has, but
that's rightly,
Luke,
yeah.
Where do you live?
I'm in the Chicagoland area.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, very cool. So, great talking to you guys. I'm definitely going to join in some chats later, but unfortunately, I have some things to do. So, thanks a bunch. We might try to pay attention more. Let's see. This Skewed View 3D is right. We need to pay more attention to the chat. So we'll make that better. But great having you guys. So I'll see you later.
Thanks for coming, Luke.
Thanks for coming.
Bye.
You and Jacob and I need to have a machine chat.
Yeah, of course. Yep. Anytime.
Robots.
Yep.
Guys
robots.
later.
Not just printers, but robots too.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Alrighty.
All right.
So, Actually, I was about to say we really should start calling it a night. It's already 10:30 Eastern Standard Time for me. So out there, it'll be around 9:30 your time.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm on
9:30
Eastern.
then.
yeah. But anyways, guys, we should really call it a night. But out of everything we saw at Earth,
Murph.
yeah, Murph. Sorry.
Er,
Yeah, I'm getting the
Well-
ones confused. Sorry. But for everything that we've seen at Murph, what are your expectations at Earth?
I'm excited that it'll be a little bigger than last year, but I'm hoping it still has some of the same feel. I had an absolute ball last time, showing off machines and getting a chance to walk around and talk to people and really chat. It was good. I like the venue.
Yeah, the venue was great.
Yeah, the venue for Earth is good. I'll give it that.
We
And
will
I'm
not
looking
go
forward.
to Cleveland this time.
Pardon me?
We will not go to Cleveland this time.
What? Okay,
Yes,
I'm
Cleveland.
going to ask, what the heck are you talking
All right.
about?
We got
Let's
lost.
tell the Cleveland story.
Yes. So
We got very lost.
So we ended up staying in Baltimore until like 3:30 p.m. on Monday, meeting with some friends of mine, and we left and we got about 3 hours out of Baltimore on 70 going west, and we crested this hill and there was like a 20-mile backup in front of us, and we're like,
Just
we're
solid
not
red lights
waiting in that.
on this highway. It was like, we are
And
not
so-
doing this.
We jumped off an exit and we just kept driving until it would reroute us. And it rerouted us. And we followed that for a few hours. And then we're like, oh, we got a ways to go, we'll just click off the GPS.
Yeah, because it was like, stay on this road for 200 miles. No joke.
Yeah. And we're just like, okay.
So I just clicked off the GPS to say battery.
And we just kept going and going and going. And
Forgot to turn it back on.
We should have been home by like 1 a.m. Back to Indianapolis, but we didn't make it back to Indy until like 10:30 the next morning.
Yeah, we had to stop for a little nap, and we stopped a couple times for caffeine, and
Yes.
yeah, we ended up in Cleveland. We weren't even trying to get. We went way out of the way.
Well, Cleveland rocks, they say in the song.
Yeah. Well, it's
That's
funny.
right.
'Cause my mom called me. Bless her
Oh
heart.
my god.
Oh yes, I love this. She was like, "There are these places you could stop," and all concerned, understandably so, that she wanted us to spend the night and not drive tired.
Yeah, I
get
can
off the
understand
phone.
that.
And Jacob looks over at me and says, "We're going straight through, aren't we?" And I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. And we did.
Oh, bro.
That was
was
one of those magical moments where Chris is in the back seat asleep and we're just like in sync.
Yeah. We were really.
Was that when you guys
loud at
discovered
each other.
country songs like Convoy?
Oh no, that was on the way there.
That was
Oh,
on the
okay.
way out. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
was
that
fun,
weird
just
text.
Belting out.
Barrett
Dude.
looks at me and goes, "They discovered country. They discovered truckers music." I'm like, "What the
Trucker
heck are you
song.
talking about?" He just sent me a text saying they're listening to trucking music.
Yep.
So like Convoy?
Yep.
Convoy.
Did you guys hear Convoy? Yeah, first
did.
time hearing it. I'm like going, oh boy.
Us young whippersnappers.
That's a 410 rubber ducky. We got ourselves a Convoy. Oh boy.
When's the next stream, Ron? Is this every Sunday?
It's not every Sunday now. It's once a month we do it.
Gotcha.
But I do want to thank everybody for sticking around and enjoying our conversations here. As always, hopefully you learned something. If not, okay, it's my fault, But let's let the others say where they can find you. So, since Jacob's on, Jacob, where can everybody find your information if they wanted to contact you?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. I think I changed my Twitter handle before Murph. to something more appropriate. Let me pull it up here.
Not that it wasn't appropriate before, but
No, it's wonderful now. I'm at
Uh-oh.
the blind CAD guy.
The blind CAD guy. I like that. That's perfect.
The blind CAD guy. Yes.
the blind cat guy. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I think that works. I mean,
Also, I like your.
I need to like somehow incorporate that maker coin into some kind of logo.
You'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Daniel, if people wanted to contact you, how do they contact you?
I am Techie Fiddler on pretty much all social media, because I am technical with my fiddling and I fiddle with tech. So you can search for that and find me on Reddit. It used to be Google Plus. The maker forums that all the Google Plus stuff is ported over to. That's my handle on pretty much everything. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. If you need technical help with anything, or you just want design input on a 3D printer design, I love that. So hit me up. Tweet at me, whatever.
You must pay Daniel and Mountain Dew.
I love Mountain Dew. Okay.
I like Mountain Dew too.
He bleeds Mountain Dew.
My blood type is Baja Blast.
I thought you were going to say Code Red.
Yeah, Code Red's not bad.
Yeah.
Voltage is actually really good though.
And myself, you can find me over, my channel, Canadian Maker Project. You can find us on Facebook at Maker
Project. Facebook group?
Yeah, we still have the Facebook group.
Pop in there. Say hi.
Links and everything are down in the description down below. So, guys, remember to hit subscribe if you aren't subscribed already. And remember to look in the but yeah, I can't speak now. Remember to look in the description because we have all the links to all our social media, to the Twitter account, to the Facebook account, also to our Streamlabs account if you want to ever send us a donation. Not required, but you can. It's all there. So for that, I want to thank everybody for stopping in and chatting with us, and have yourselves a great night.